Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
And we give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite sports icons and athletes. I'm Boom Gonzalez. And in tonight's game plan, we'll break down the biggest news in the NBA, the trade that brought Kyrie Irving to Dallas.
We'll also take a look at the top teams on a hot start in the PBA Governor's Cup. And we'll see how the Cignal HD Spikers maintain their strong connection in a new edition of PVlogs. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Now, just like a fox hunting its prey, the Dallas Mavericks sneakily dealt a trade that brought Kyrie Irving to Texas. Now, will this work? Will Dallas need to play with two balls on the floor? Well, joining us to talk about how this should all pan out is basketball analyst, NBA high post, and known passer of the ball, Mikey Reyes. Mikey, kamusta?
Of course, you will ask me about two ball-dominant point guards.
Kasi we have to get the right guy for this particular topic. And of course, that's a big question, isn't it? How do Dallas play with two ball-dominant guards? Isa lang yung bola sa court.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task. I think they both need to understand that they will need each other if they want to win ball games or even maybe have a good playoff push or maybe even a championship in the future. But they have to both understand that their roles may diminish a little bit from what they're used to. But at the same time,
cannot be.
Diba? Ang hirap nun eh.
Cannot be.
Nun.
Wait, okay, for those who are living under the rock, the official trade, Kyrie Irving and Keith Morris goes to Dallas. And so far, Brooklyn acquires Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, the 2027 second-round pick, 2029 first-round pick, the unprotected one, and 2029 second-round pick. Now, this still can be flipped. The Brooklyn side of things, pwede pa nila ibenta tong si Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. All right, before we concentrate more on Dallas, I want to ask you what your opinion is on why it did not work with the Nets. Not the stint, but the extension. Why do you think Brooklyn and Joe Tsai, the owner, did not want to guarantee the extension? What is your theory, Mike?
Because Kyrie on the court is also not guaranteed. So
availability
on the court, different for various reasons that apparently the Brooklyn Nets had no control over during the pandemic, even after the pandemic. So with Kyrie, I think they never saw eye to eye.
Yeah.
And I think even nung bubble pa lang, it started there and it just started to get worse and worse. Because you have to consider they waited the whole bubble for him to come back, even after the bubble. But he just didn't want to show up at some games. He missed most of his games with the Brooklyn Nets. So it's not something that you can blame the Nets for.
Yeah, and when you take a look at the Mavs going after a Kyrie Irving, I think it's, swing for the fences move, trying to get another star in. You can't say Luka doesn't have help anymore. But the question is, game on the line. Both guys have hit game winners in the past. I mean, who gets the ball at the end? Who do you trust more? Because that's going to be a question asked over and over again by the analysts, by the coaches, and I'm sure by the fans as well.
Well, the most cliche answer is kung sino mainit. Who has the hot hand, who's been playing well in that specific game or that specific stretch of games. But I'd still want Luka to have the basketball. This is still Luka's team in my eyes. I don't think you want to piss off someone like Luka. I'm sure Mark Cuban had a long conversation with Luka to assure him that this is still your team. He's still the young buck. He's like more of the Kobe in the Kobe-Shaq tandem. So I feel like it's still going to be in Luka's hands. But at the same time, you can't double Luka anymore, especially in those big shots or those moments, those last 2 minutes stretches. You have to also be wary that Kyrie is on the other side, also ready to touch that basketball.
Is this a gamble for Dallas? When you look at it long term, will this work after this year? Is this a rental? Is Kyrie a rental in your opinion, if you're Mark Cuban, Mikey?
Obviously, it's a gamble. All trades are gambles.
True.
But I think this is a go big or go home trade. There's a big chance that if it does work out, then you have a big chance of, going deep into the playoffs or even making it to the finals.
Especially ngayon sa West na medyo, nothing is guaranteed at the West right now.
Kumbaga, more to win maybe. I mean, you lose. I know Spencer Dinwiddie and Finney-Smith are also solid guys, but I don't think they're going to win you a championship.
Yeah, you take a look at the combination of si Doncic and Kyrie. People are going to be, okay, is this going to be the new dynamic duo? Is this going to be something that, okay, magsasalitan ba sila? Are they going to take turns, especially on the ball? What do you think his role is going to be like? Let's say he does stay here a bit longer, and of course, in the immediate.
He's going to be the Jalen Brunson. He's going to have that Jalen Brunson role. Obviously, a more talented, a more skillful one.
Yeah.
Right.
But he has to play off the basketball. And also, I believe also Kyrie would like that, hopefully. Save some years, maybe save some of his legs.
He is 31.
For the long term, for the playoffs. But when playoff time comes in, obviously Kyrie's going to produce.
Okay, I want to ask you, Mikey, how long before there's trouble in Dallas do you think?
Next week.
Do you think?
Next week. When they start
Playing
playing.
over under dito.
When will they start playing?
But seryoso though, this is going to be must watch, must see, even from a press conference standpoint or an off-the-court standpoint. Do you think they can last throughout the playoffs without something happening?
Definitely, they're going to
Something.
have to decide after this season.
Yeah.
I mean, the second half of the season and in the playoffs, they're going to make the playoffs. And in the playoffs, can they, share that basketball a little bit more, a little bit better? But you also have to give them time. I think that's the one thing that we owe it to them, or we have to allow them to
No such
to
thing
gel.
in the NBA.
Oo nga, nagmamadali yung mga tao.
No such thing. Patience is not a virtue in the NBA. Mikey, dyan ka lang ha, because after the break, we'll talk about the teams who remain undefeated in Week 2 of the PBA Governor's Cup. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game. The PBA Governor's Cup is well underway and a few teams are off to a blistering start with undefeated records. And still with us to talk about the squads on a win streak is PBA Rush anchor Mikey Reyes. 4-0 We have, 3 teams, I believe? What a start. Something's got to give down the road for sure, but let's break it down. First, San Miguel Beermen. Mikey, what can you say?
They're looking good. I think they're on that redemption mode, redemption mood, especially after bowing out to the Bay Area Dragons in the semifinals of the Commissioner's Cup. And I really believe this was a great pickup of an import.
Yeah.
You get Cameron Clark, who was known for a mid-range scorer when he was with NLEX. Although with NLEX kasi, they didn't have like a force inside to complement the mid-range shooting and the outside shooting of Cameron Clark. And obviously you have, Junmar there.
Yeah.
They really complement each other so well.
A lot of people were talking about Coach George Gallant having his first conference here with San Miguel Beermen and, wondering, okay, is it still going to be as effective? Great start here, 4-0 as you mentioned. But then you take a look at the roles. Do you see like any big changes that have stuck out for you when you look at San Miguel?
It's really just they know their talent. And I'm sure Coach George has been there for years, or maybe more than a decade now. I'm not really sure. But he knows the pieces that he has. He knows that when they brought in an import, that was more or less the Arwin Santos role with who can stretch the floor, play the 4, rebound, defend. So I think you don't really need to change anything with San Miguel because of that talent. Mahirap nang palitan yung gumagana naman.
Okay, that's true. And of course, our next game will be against the Diego Dario-led Meralco Bolts. Just have to shout out our friend Diego again. 3-1 sila. So that's going to be a great game.
Pinasa yung bola eh. Sabi ko, yan yung tinuro ko sa'yo
What would Mikey not do? Okay, another 4-0 team, Converge.
Yeah.
The Fiber Xers, tell me, how are they at 4-0?
Well, I think Coach Aldin has already proven from last conference that they can win ball games in the elimination round.
Yes.
I think it's really just them piling up the wins, getting as much wins as possible, especially without going up against the tougher teams yet. They still have the Barangay Ginebras and all those teams. So it's really piling up the wins, and also they changed imports very, very quick.
Yeah.
Even with the win, the win in game 1, but Jamal Franklin, 15 assists in their that was yesterday. 15 assists. That's something you rarely see from an import.
Triple-double there, 25, 13, and 15. The 15 being assists. So you take a look at, you mentioned it a while ago, they can win elimination round. Do we have to reserve judgment for them until the playoffs? Because, again, you don't want to be one of those teams that, okay, you can win when it technically doesn't matter as much as a playoff game.
Well, with all the independent teams playing right now, they're looking the closest to competing for a championship, or at least going deep into the playoffs, into the semifinals. So we'll see. I mean, it's a young team. They have young players there. Jeric Balanza is there now, back with Coach Aldin. So it's continued to develop that team. And I see the patience also with the Converge Fiber Xers management, knowing that, you have to let them mature.
Okay. They're going up against TNT Tropang Giga, who are also 3-1. So mabigat din yung laro na yan. And Lex Road Warriors, the last team we'll talk about, who are 4-0. Mikey, your thoughts?
Well, what we saw, the first 4 games will definitely be different from what you're going to see starting on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because obviously, how are you going to replace a Jonathan Simmons, even with the new import coming in? There's just no way that you can replace someone who played in the NBA like that, played under Greg Popovich, and the results that he brought in. And for him to be gutsy enough to promise a 4-0 start, I mean, you can't really replace someone like that at this point.
Yeah, grabe yung kumpiyansa. And of course, when you take a look, of course, replacing him will also be an NBA vet. Itong si Wayne Selden, who, some people might have varying opinions with regards to him. But yung next game nila will be against arguably the toughest competition that they're gonna have here in Barangay Ginebra. Also undefeated kasi 1-0 pa rin sila.
1-0.
Oh, you take a look at their start here. Coach Frankie Lim looks comfortable already where he is.
Well, they're gonna go up against the defending champs. So a team that has been together for years. Justin Brownlee already knows what he has to do. And a new import coming in. It's going to be a tough task for NLEX. Hopefully they can carry that momentum.
Adjustments and see whether or not they can do it quickly because they need to against a team like Barangay Ginebra. Mikey, maraming salamat. Thank you very much for shooting as much as you can. And because we know that's what you do best. Thank you. All right, so after the break, reveal some of the hobbies of the Cignal HD Spikers outside the volleyball court in this latest edition of PVlogs. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Kyrie. So ngayon, mag-i-interview tayo ng ating mga teammates.
Gusto mo na manahimik, ha?
At randomly, tatanungin natin sila ng mga questions. You know. So si Chinchin muna ang ating naunang i-interview. So Chinchin, anong feeling mo na nandito ka na sa Cignal?
Sobrang saya po.
Hindi totoo yan.
Ay, shucks! Nagsalita na siya kasi sa training di ko siya naririnig. So ito na nga Chinchin, ano nga feeling na nasa Cignal ka?
Siyempre, sobrang saya kasi hindi na ako gaanong mag-a-adjust kasi yung iba nakasama ko nalala na sa FEU and sa ibang team din.
Bahala ka sa buhay mo.
And ayun po, and lalo na po sa coach and matagal ko na din kilala. Ayun po.
Alam niyo ba guys, isang fact na si Chinchin dati nung kanyang high school days ay hinahatid ko pa sa Angelicum. Ay! Ngayon ay teammate na kami ni Chinchin. Pero hindi pa din siya nagsasalita. So, andito naman tayo sa aking isa pang katamaraw na si Jer Malabanan. Jerry Lee Malabanan. Anong size ng paa mo? Kasi ang laki. So, Jer, sige na, sabihin mo muna yung size ng paa mo at saka mali mo may magregalo sa'yo ng Jordan.
Size 10 po.
Women. Diba? Size 10 women's, guys. So, yun po, kung sino gusto magbigay ng gift kay Jer.
Wow naman! Wow! Wow!
Size 10 women's, okay? So, Jer, bakit mas pinili mong dito magstay sa Philippines kesa sa USA? Kito boy.
Ate, parang mas nag-enjoy po ako dito na naglalaro.
Bola lang yan.
So, andito naman tayo sa best middle blocker na si Roslyn Doria. Kanyang binabari lang legs niya para lumakas, Char. So, Dors, taga saan nga ba si Dors?
Pangasinan po.
Madami pong isda. Ay, tama ba? Bangus. Kaya sabi sa inyo, dala niya akong bangus kasi favorite ko ang daing na bangus.
Kapal na mukha mo.
So, totoo bang pagbaha, mayroong mga lumulutang na isda?
Ate, magugulat ka na lang, pumapasok na lang yung mga bangus sa bahay.
Tuloy mo yan.
So, thank you so much, Roslyn Doria. Our first middle blocker. First ba, Besh? Oo, first.
Bahala ka sa buhay mo.
And then yung last season, second. Favoriri! So, Riri Meneses, mahilig po siya sa shoes.
Nakakagigil ka.
So, Riri, ilan na po ang pairs ng iyong Jordans or ng iyong mga shoes?
Nasa 10 pieces na ata yung pairs ko.
Guys, kada game, iba-iba po ang kanyang suot. Iba-iba ang kanyang OOTD. Mahilig siya sa fashion, you know. Ganun.
Tuloy mo yan.
So, Riri, anong pinaka-favorite o pinaka-mahal mong nabiling shoes?
Pinakamahal. Guyo yung Jordan ko na yung red.
Sobra. Iba-iba talaga yung shoes niya.
Ano ba ang drama mo sa buhay?
So guys, nandito na po tayo sa behind the scene ng pictorial ni Jack Jonella at ni Grace Bombita. So ngayon, for today's video, bakit anong inaarte yung dalawa? Ba't kayo nagpipictorial? Hindi po namin kasi alam na may pictorial kami nung araw na yon. So pawis na pawis kami. Thank you to our TM Ken dahil di niya sinabi.
Tawag dito, umasa lang kami sa natural beauty nung last conference.
Walang ayos.
Wala talagang ayos yun, guys. Buti na lang si Buday kahit
Wala pa din to. Kami lang to guys.
Ano ka nasisira, ulo?
Okay.
fresh pa rin everyday.
O sige na, mag-pictorial ka na. Papanoorin namin yung ano nyo. Opak. 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 Dahil dyan, istorbihin muna natin si Grace Bombita! The bomba, the natural bomba talaga siya, guys.
Nakakagigil ka.
Excited ka na bang lumipad? I believe I can So ano na lang yung parang natutunan mo during yung season na para talagang dahil nga medyo down ka, dahil na-injured ka, hindi ka nakakapaglaro. Ano yung pinaka tumatak sa yung lesson?
Siguro po yung patience talaga. Grabe yung pasensya, pero sobrang thankful ako sa teammates ko and sa management. Grabe talaga yung support na binibigay. I think kung wala yung support system na tinatawag, lalo na si Ate Boday, si siguro wala ako ngayon dito. So, sobrang thank you, ate. Thank you sa management and sa teammates ko, sa coaches. Thank you po.
Thank you. We're so excited to see you. I believe I can touch the sky. So guys, andito naman tayo kay Angel Baby Angel. Ay, mali pala. So andito tayo kay Angel Baby. So ngayon, favorite niya talagang ini-interview at favorite niyang ma-pictorial.
Napakahaba ng babasahin.
Ayan. Ayaw niya yan. Una-una siyang nagtatago. Ganun.
Tuloy mo yan.
So ngayon, Angel, excited ka na ba sa ating TikTok?
Hindi.
Galing niya.
Ayaw muna.
Ensayo muna, guys. Sobrang galing mag-TikTok na ni Angel. Kahit yung mga ganyan-ganyan sayaw niya lang. Bakit sa kanya parang ang ganda, sa akin ang sagwa?
Ano ba ang drama mo sa buhay?
At last but not the least, nandito na tayo kay Madam Ceci! Annyeonghaseyo. Po talaga ang aming madam dito sa team. Sobrang bait po dyan ni Ceci.
Bola lang yan.
Huwag niyo lang po siya pagigisingin ng umaga at huwag niyo po siyang gugutihumin kasi magiging dragona siya. So, Ces, ano pinagagawa mo dito? Oo. Oo. So, pakitaan mo kami ng 4 na perfect pose para sa'yo. Go! Pak! Pak! Opa! At guys, dito na po nagtatapos ang Cignal TV! See you guys!
There you go. They're actually up next in the PVL, going up against Cherry Tigo, talking about the Cignal HD Spikers. Good luck to both teams. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
And I'm Paulo Del Rosario. This has been The Game.